Hi everybody, welcome to the first episode of 5 more minutes solo play. I'm Bookworm. I'm going to be playing TEW2013, stands for Total Extreme Wrestling 2013, by Adam Ryland and published by Grey Dog Software. This is a wrestling booking sim and business management game. If you're not into wrestling, I do recommend, even if you're just into business sims, there's a lot of cool stuff in this game. It's very in depth. He's been making these games since '95, which started with EWD. It was a DOS-based game, very simple interface. There wasn't a lot to do, but it was still a lot of fun. He moved on to EWR in the early 2000s. It was a Windows-based game. It was much quicker, a lot more in-depth, and it was a lot of fun. There was 4 versions of that, which you can find with a quick Google search if you're looking for something a little bit complex than what we'll be playing. If you're interested in this, TEW2005 is available for free as shareware on greydogsoftware.com. It'll give you a little bit of a glimpse of how to play the game, more so maybe that you'll be able to do yourself than just watching me do it. I recommend these games. They're a lot of fun if you're a wrestling fan. If you're a fan of wrestling and want to get into booking, it's really good as well. We're gonna start a new here. We're going to be playing in the C-verse, which once Mr. Ryland had to start selling these games for money, he decided to make this his full-time job. He had to create his own universe due to licensing with character names and copyrights. Called it the C-verse. The name is based on Tommy Cornell, who is the best wrestler in the game as far as stats go, and we'll start to see the stats as we go in to the game here. We're going to name just 5 more minutes there. Yes. It takes a few minutes to initialize the game world. It's a lot more streamlined than the past versions. You'll see a little bit of a slowdown. It always pulls up not responding just because right away it's like, oh, there's stuff going on. But don't worry, just give it a few minutes and it pops up into the next screen that we'll see here. I've been playing Adam Ryland games for a long time. I started with EWD actually. And moving on, following his career for a long time. I think I was 13, so about 13 years now that I've been playing these games. Almost as long as I've been playing Total War. And I've always been a fan of wrestling. I trained for a bit to be a wrestler. Didn't work out. I started a little bit too late and was a little too out of shape by that time. But the backstage was always interesting for me, so I decided to go with that. It's taking a little bit longer to load than I thought it would. Anyway, I recommend these games, like I said. If you're not into the fictional universe aspect of it, there is a huge modding community available on greydogsoftware.com in the forum section. Whether you're playing 2005, and here we go, whether you're playing 2005 for free, or you pick up one of the ones that are available to buy, there's a modding. You usually can find a mod from anywhere from 1983 up until the present day, depending on which game you're playing. And there's always usually a post somewhere in there that'll just list all of the current day mods. Here you see these are predefined user characters that you can be. Up until this version of the game, you were only able to pick the user characters. If you wanted to be a wrestler from the game, you had to change all his stats over to a user character, and it was a lot of hard work. So Adam decided to listen to the fans, like he always does. He's very fan service. He always listens to. He actually has a suggestion form that he usually will comment on if he likes the suggestion or not. We're going to filter real quick. We're going to be playing as TCW. It's one of 3 national companies. They play a little bit like a WCW meets Ring of Honor. If you don't know what those are, they're more traditional based, less talking, more wrestling. It's how I like my wrestling. Tommy Cornell is the owner of TCW, so we'll start with a reputation around high. Allows me to have a little leeway there. You also have user talents that you start with. They give you 25. You can earn an extra bonus point for every 100 shows, up to 34 total. The important things are leadership. You want that pretty high. Usually have 6 there. Diplomacy is another good one, dealing with headaches backstage, prima donnas. Negotiation is always important because you're always going to have guys that want to stiff you on contracts. And then motivation is a good thing to have, as well as creativity, which helps you out more so in when you're turning guys from heel or face, good guy, bad guy, or if you're giving them a new gimmick. High creativity helps that out. There's also presets if you're not sure how to set your stats up. It's good. There's also preferences you can do here. Fog of War allows it so when a new guy debuts, you're not going to know his stats right away. I like playing with that. It allows for a little bit of unknown variety there, because they'll start doing eventually uh, randomly generated guys that will pop in, so it's always good to have that. There's a few other things like owner goals, but we're playing as the owner, so I'll leave that off. It just your owner might tell you that you can't hire a certain type of worker, or you need to keep their friends in the main event, stuff like that. We'll go ahead and just save those, and then go ahead and select Tommy Cornell, and we'll bring it to. I usually remove the user characters because they're kind of pointless after if you're not using them. And then we're going to select yourself as the owner, because Tommy Cornell is the owner of TCW. The other two companies that are national in the game, they're the biggest companies, are Supreme Pro Wrestling, which is very WWE-like, and then United States Pro Wrestling, which runs like an early WWF. It's very like all-American, good guy, bad guy kind of stuff. Here, you'll see this page every new day. You have a news archive. There's some little tidbits that pop up over here. Tells you if there's a new job available for you, results from other people, as well as little interviews that they pull up with different wrestlers. They'll give you a hint of what motivates them in the ring. They have a world diary which shows everyone's position within the of popularity within the world. Company wars, if you're at national or regional, you'll be in wars with people that are also in that same place within your home base. So we're in America. We have a three-way war between us, USPW, and SWF, Supreme Wrestling Federation. And based on your performance per every show of the month, they average that out, and whoever has the highest wins. Doing well will help you with your popularity, and your momentum, while doing badly can knock you down to a lower size, possibly, if it comes to that. Your office is the screen that you'll be at a lot. You have selections here for your roster, shows all the guys that you currently have employed. This is your titles. We have all actions or low level title. It's kind of like a cruiserweight or X division for the TNA. For a real life scenario there, that's a low level title, so you kind of want to put that early in the card. Younger guys aren't that over yet. International is kind of like a United States or Intercontinental title. By the way, there's a great graphics department that does all this stuff. They create the title belts. Characters. If you don't like how a character looks, on the forums there are re-render threads where people go in and have redone the characters and made them a little bit different looking, either for their diaries, which the diaries are a great section too. It's just people playing the games. If you go there, I recommend the Final Countdown's Golden Age mod Golden Age and Beyond WWF Diary. It's based on a 1987 mod, I believe. That is running. He's running as a WWF. He just passed his first year doing WrestleMania 5. You'll see me on there as Frantic Loser, praising every show that he keeps Ted DiBiase as world champion, which he just had him go over Hulk Hogan for the second time to retain the belt at WrestleMania 5. Is really good. And he just had a spin-off diary. They're playing a multiplayer game with another guy named Ricciardo, who took over the NWA, to give him a little competition, breathe some fresh air into it. It's really good. Then you have your World Heavyweight belt. That's going to be the main event. And then tag teams, they have them here as mid-cards. I like to put them as floating, which means I can kind of move them around the card depending on who I want as tag champions at that time. The last thing I'm going to get into today, we do have a show tomorrow night on the game, so I'll get into booking on the next episode. This is the creative meeting. It allows you to see who your top guys are, who you should be pushing the most, need to be on every show. They're what the fans come to see. Next big things are guys that can be future main eventers. If you do right, they have great potential to be great for your company. Hot prospects is kind of the same, but not as much, because they have the ability to become future main eventers, but if you don't handle them right, they probably won't. But they'll always be good, solid hands. Talk the talk is who's good on the mic. Showstoppers are guys that are super flashy. If you'll notice, Tommy Cornell is at the top of every list. Not just because he's the owner of the company, but because subjectively he is the best. Ring generals, they're good at psychology, which allows you to put on longer matches with guys that so they don't and get good grades with them. Basically, who's hot and who's not. These are the guys that have momentum. They've been winning a lot. The fans are really into them. They're putting on great segments, and allows them to gain overness more quickly, and they put on better ratings because people want to see them. The adverse of that is who's not. They're not going to be doing as well. Time decline's a really cool feature. As guys get older, they start to lose their abilities. There's a lot of different things that happen in decline. Whether they start losing popularity because they're irrelevant because of their age, or they start not being able to wrestle as well or for as long. So it's kind of keeps you on your toes. You gotta cycle guys out as they get older and cycle new guys up. And the hidden gems feature, it gives you a list of the top 5 guys that are either unsigned or are independent, and they're not with anybody major yet, but they think that they'll do really well for your company. We're gonna go ahead and sign Matt Keith because he's at the top of the list. You just click on his picture there, click on negotiate, and it brings you the contract screen. We're gonna offer a written contract, of course, because we are national. We're a cult or above. We're a national company, so we're allowed to offer written contracts. There's different sizes ranging from small to global of your level that allows you to do certain things every time you go up a level of popularity. We're going to sign for 10 years. You can offer them certain amount of appearances, so you can say, I'm going to sign you for 10 years, but only use you 6 times in that 10 years, and then your contract's up, even if it's not 10 years yet. You can allow them, you can say, I'm going to only sign you to be an announcer, but this guy's a wrestler, so we're going to be whatever's needed just in case. Most likely it'll be pushed as a wrestler, though. It tells you, you can tell them how you want to use them, whether and each one of these, if you click on the question marks, will tell you what exactly these mean. It's different things. You just gotta be careful because they'll expect that, and if you don't do it, then they will get pissed off at you. Same with this. You'll say, I'm never gonna push you lower than a main event. You'll always be a main eventer. With older guys that are that popular, it's great. With a guy like Matt Keith, probably not, because he's not well known. So we're gonna keep that the same. We can say whether or not they're only going to be on pay-per-views or TV or house shows, things like that. We can give them bonuses of certain percentages of what they're paid per month based on, like, we can do 20% for pay-per-view and TV, or pay-per-view or show, or every show. Don't really need to do that right now. These are basically things that you can do to sweeten the pot if someone else is trying to bid you out. Which we really have to worry about is SWF, the Supreme Wrestling Federation, because they're bigger than us. We can offer them things like creative control, which means they can decide if they win or not. A hiring veto, they can stop us from hiring people. Wage matching is every time I hire someone that's paid more than them, they automatically get paid the same amount. So there's things that you can do there to help that out. And we're going to go ahead and make this offer. I'm going to say goodnight, and we will hear back from Matthew Keith in a few days, as well as book our next show on the next episode of 5 Minutes Solo with Bookworm and TEW13.